Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. I can't imagine how many times her husband has probably been within inches of getting his butt kicked because of her. I absolutely hate women who start a bunch of crap trying to get their husband, son, or anyone else around to back them up once they're challenged. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Karen opened my car door. My girlfriend at the time and I went to visit my mom in another city. We needed to put fuel in the car, so we stopped at a service station. It was a Sunday and it was busy. My girlfriend was driving and she pulled up behind a pump, but there was one car ahead of her. When the car left, my partner drove to the pump. Even before the car stops, I hear a woman screaming and shouting, and then the door on my side is wrenched open. Karen continues swearing, saying to me, "Get out of the effing car!" She then looks into my car at who she's shouting at and immediately starts walking away. By the time I get out of the car, she's already raced back to her car. The area is predominantly white, and I'm a 6-foot-tall black man and am fairly physically imposing. Turns out she started her own queue to the side of ours and thought she was next, even though we'd been waiting before she arrived. There are other cars lining up behind her car, so they're boxed in, so can't drive off. I walked to her car, her husband was the driver, and he's looking at his steering wheel in what seems like embarrassment. He never looked up the whole time I was there. I ask her to roll down her window, which she does, and I then very politely tell her it's unwise to open people's doors, as you don't know if they have weapons and might not take kindly to what she did. She then says we'd stolen her turn, but she isn't swearing or shouting anymore, but she is still being grumpy, like a teenager. I remember thinking this woman was crazy. In the city I'm from, people can get attacked for tailgating, let alone what she did. I always remember how her husband didn't say a word, like he was saying, "I'm not getting involved," like this wasn't her first rodeo. Be careful, Karen. And our second story. This is a 35-mile-an-hour zone, and you're cruising at about 90. A little background. I'm very timid and a bit of a pushover in certain situations. If possible, I avoid situations rising to confrontation, but can generally remain calm during stressful situations if I need to be. I'm working at the service desk on a relatively easy night at the store where I work. Another woman who had been covering the desk with me is on her break, leaving me by myself. Not that big of a deal. Up rolls this 60-something woman in an electric cart, and I feel it in my bones. This is not going to be easy. She puts a clearance jacket on the counter. I ask if she's purchasing this jacket. Since it's the service desk, the main focus is, of course, handling returns and exchanges. She looks at me like I'm the least intelligent person she's ever encountered in her life. CL. What else would I be doing with it? Me. Generally, this desk is used for returns and exchanges, but if you're purchasing, I can absolutely do that for you. I ring up the coat and tell her the total. She goes to hand me a card, but I point to the card reader, telling her to run it through the side. CL. I can't. It's a gift card. Me. Since it's a Visa gift card and not a store gift card, you can run it through the machine. She swipes the card. Me. Do you have a PIN set up? By this point, I'm being perfectly pleasant and trying to help her through the process as best as possible, knowing it can often be confusing for older people. CL. I just told you, this is a gift card. You can't have a PIN for these things. Me. You can actually call the company and have a PIN set up so you can run it as a CL. No, you can't. There's no PIN. Me. Okay. And we all know this, okay. It's the okay, crazy bee that you're not allowed to actually say out loud, so you stop it, okay. Me. Press the red X, then press credit on the next screen. You'll need to sign for it. She does as I tell her, and when she finishes, my register tells me that she still owes a little more than $3 after the remaining balance from the gift card was applied. I inform her of this, and she proceeds to pull out two $3 off with our apologies coupons that we give to people who experience inconveniences at the fault of our store. Me. Oh, those are actually coupons which need to be applied before the payment, so in order to use those, I'd have to void out the card payment and... CL. You can't do that. The money won't go back on the card right away, and I won't be able to use it. You're stealing my money. Now, I know some people use caps and exclamation points and a bit of hyperbole to make the situation seem more extreme than it really is. However, my supervisor, NH for not helping, was standing easily 30 yards away from the desk with 2 sets of shelves in between us. And the very second CL started yelling, NH's head pops up above the shelves while she gives me the F is going on look. I try to, very calmly, despite already starting to get shaky at the thought of the oncoming hellfire about to rain down on me, explain to her why things won't work the way that she wants to and that, no, I can't make the register work the exact way you want it to work. NH comes over to try and defuse the situation, but she has terrible confrontation handling skills and only manages to make CL even more upset. Cue other customers actually stopping to gawk and our small but fierce SBF security girl coming over to interject. SBF, ma'am, if you could please just CL. No! Nobody asked you to enter this conversation, so I'm not even talking to you. The cashier stole my money and is trying to screw me over. This mistake needs to be fixed right now. NH calls our store manager up to the service desk. At this point, the situation has been going on for at least 35 minutes. SBF is standing behind me, legitimately concerned that she'll dive over the desk and throttle this woman if given a direct path. As the other service desk employee is yet to come back from her meal break, we couldn't help any other customers during the entirety of the exchange. Our normally calm and collected, CAC, store manager comes over. I start to explain the situation, but CL cuts me off, yelling to the store manager that I stole her money. I am literally shaking. CAC approves for us to void the payment and use the coupons to bring the price down to what can be covered by the balance on the card. He then walks away. I do as he says. We apply the coupons and try to run the card. Of course, it's a decline. CL, this is exactly what I told you would happen. I told you not to do that. Me, through gritted teeth, I'm only doing what my supervisor instructed me to do. This is how coupons work, ma'am, and this is how they work just about everywhere. Coupons, as I've already told you, need to be applied before we accept any payment. She flips her crap. NH over walkie-talkie. CAC back to the customer service desk. SBF, OP, take a step back. CAC comes back. Me. The card got declined, but CL. This idiot just stole my money. CAC. Hey, this is a 35-mile-an-hour zone and you're cruising at about 90. So I'm going to need you to ease off the accelerator. And at this moment, everything stops. 1, no one has ever heard CAC raise his voice before. 2, he just said what? CL, why would you speak to me like that? CAC, there is not a person here with ears who appreciates your tone. These are human beings you're speaking at. CL, this girl stole my money. I can't use it now. CAC, I will personally hand you $20 out of this register to leave this store and never come back, and hopefully never go to any other store I work at with this kind of attitude ever again. Somewhere in the middle of the yelling, the other service desk employee has come back and slowly figures out what's going on. She calls the card company, and the automated number tells her that the remaining balance is still the 8 whatever that CL thinks is missing from her card. CL is now offended every way from Sunday, but set on buying this jacket. But I'm never shopping here again. We managed to get the transaction to go through. I hand her the receipt with no hint of civility in the interaction. Then, oh dear goodness, then CL gets pleasant. CL, hun, I think I might have gotten the wrong one. Could you please tell me what size it is, please? Me, no. CL, excuse me, I asked you for help. Me, and I'm refusing. You don't talk to me. Ever again. SBF, NH, I think OP might need an extra 5-minute break. Me, OP does need an extra 5-minute break, which she will be taking outside, and she will remain outside until all the crazy people have left the service desk. I ripped the service desk keys off my belt and the walkie-talkie headset out of my ear, only barely refraining from throwing them down. CAC. OP also probably needs a free drink from coffee shop inside the store. I'll go over with you and get you one. Crazy lady tries to argue with the people remaining at the desk, but everyone ignores her. She then proceeded to go back into the store to do more shopping, despite having just promised us to never shop there again. Your store manager is an amazing human being. I want to high-five this guy. And our last story. I kicked my wife and her daughter out of my house. Me, 32-year-old male, and my wife, Andy, 34-year-old female, have been together for about 3 years now. We're married for one of those years. We get along really well. Only problem is her daughter, Carrie, 16-year-old female. She's a daughter from my wife's previous marriage. Her father, my wife's ex-husband, died in a car accident about 5 years ago. When me and Andy started dating, we took things really slow. She didn't introduce me to Carrie until she knew things were serious between us. When I met Carrie, she was acting really distant, and overall, she was mean to me. But I understand that, of course. I tried to bond with her and spend some time together, but never forced her to do anything she didn't want to do. I told her to address me with my first name and had no intention to replace her father. I just wanted us to get along. Things got better, but sometimes she was rude to me and had some inappropriate comments. I never said anything to her because my wife told me to just give her some time. Things really escalated after our marriage. I offered my wife and her daughter to live in my house. Andy immediately agreed, her daughter, not so much. But since she was 15 at the time, my wife gave her no choice. That's when the problem started. Carrie would intentionally make a mess in the kitchen, like destroying glasses and plates and leave the sharp glass on the ground. She would throw things out of the window and insult our neighbors, etc. This would happen like twice a week. I admit I have a bad temper, so sometimes I yelled at her and made her clean her mess, but I never laid my hands on her and never physically punished her. My wife repeatedly told her to stop behaving like that, but it didn't help. This went on for about a year. Last week, she'd outdone herself. Me and Andy were coming home from dinner and the garage door was open. We found Carrie there and she was destroying my car. I have a BMW X5, so a pretty expensive one. She slashed 2 tires with a knife and scratched the surface with her keys. I completely snapped. I told her evil little bee and to get the F out of my house. My wife sided with her and said that Carrie is just acting out and I shouldn't call her like that. I was furious and told my wife that if she's okay with Carrie destroying my stuff, she can get the F out as well. We argued about 15 minutes. During the argument, I said that I want Carrie to pay for my car, and if she won't, I will sue her. I have a camera in my garage and have everything recorded. Andy told me that I can't do that and that I'm heartless. In response to that, I told them both to pack their bags and get out. It was almost 12 p.m. They packed and left. When I think about it now, I know I could handle the situation better and more calmly, but I think this kind of had to happen. We'll be having a divorce and I'll be seeing a lawyer to sue Carrie for destroying my car. I was just so fed up with her constantly destroying stuff and overall being toxic. I talked about this with my parents and my mom kind of thinks I'm an awful person. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.